Across global borders, how did people write history? They wrote battles and leaders, battles and leaders. So it's a historical reality that we have to deal with, that history is often written about these big, people don't write about, then we went to the market and we found this one outfit that had special stitching and we thought, oh, we like the zigzag stitching, so we got that one. And these are things that are forgotten to time, except for sometimes in literature. So I think the first thing is, whenever we're going back to read about the prophets, I said, to remember that it is a historical book, as you said. It's a biography. It is a historical book that documents his life, which, like anything else across borders, it's going to document and emphasize what peoples had a tendency to emphasize, in this case, battles and power, like who was the leader, who wasn't, and all this kind of stuff. So she presented as classical objective study, as you said earlier. Like she was like, this is what it says, right? But I still think that this book, unlike others, has more details around the battles that do help to thicken that, to remind us that the battles were important. We learn a lot from them, but it wasn't everything about the life of the Prophet. There were more things happening. The problem of the modern age is that we look at the Prophet and we think that his life was full of battles, and it's not the case. His was a life full of many other things, including relationships, including interactions, including difficulties that included the kinds of difficulties we face today. So our introduction here is to really explain much of that. Like if you look at it, we talk this little tiny translator's introduction, talking about, of the 28 ghazwas of the Prophet, only 7 are considered battles, for example. And just as you mentioned, all told, these military expeditions did not take more than a few months of the entire 10-year span of the Prophet's life. So yes, we did attempt to point this out in the introduction in an attempt to sort of help the reader understand that what they're reading is typical of historical texts, but nonetheless, their job as a reader is to understand that this battle happened, and a lot of life happened that wasn't necessarily recorded.